I'm your host, Gary Smith, along with my other host.
You do. That's right. Donald Jones in the building.
This is Right or Wrong TV, and we're bringing you this story out of Dallas, Texas, involving a police officer, Amber Guyger.
We start with breaking news this midday. We are learning more information about the Dallas police officer who investigators say walked into the wrong apartment and shot 26-year-old Botham Jean. This happened at Southside Flats on South Lamar Street. Officials say Jean died at the hospital.
A Dallas police officer lives here at the Southside Flats and was returning home after working a full shift last night around 10 o'clock when she was trying to get into what she thought was her apartment. But she was mistaken, and the mistakes continued. When she shot the man inside, he would eventually die. The victim is 26-year-old Botham Jean. We talked to people who live here at the Southside Flats, and they said this morning they could see blood in the hallway and in the stairwell. We're not sure the exact details of how or why the officer was trying to get into the wrong apartment or why she felt the need to fire her gun, but that officer is at Dallas PD headquarters, which is just a block away, being questioned.
Bottom line is this. Someone wound up dead because of her negligence.
Right.
Your thoughts on this, Donald?
Like, my thing is, what would possess you? Now, my man Charlemagne said this, and I listened to him in the morning. It was funny, but he was right. He was like, look, I've gone to the wrong car. You know, you come out of the mall or something like that. Maybe it's a car you see that matches yours. And you might go to the wrong car or something like that, the wrong car door. But to go to the wrong apartment and then actually go into the apartment and not know that when you first walk into the apartment, I don't care how dark it is, you know, if you live in this place where everything is, right? So when you first walk into this place, it's like, this is not my place. So what was she on to where she didn't even realize that she wasn't in her place? Like, the couches and everything are moved in a whole different.
Now, I'm glad you said that, because that was my first thought. Like, how do you not walk in and say, well, this is totally wrong?
Right.
But you're walking in a place and all of a sudden you see movement. Imagine that. Mm-hmm. The first thing you'll notice is the movement. It doesn't matter if your appliance all of a sudden go from stainless steel to white. Right. The first thing you'll notice is the movement, and you won't pay any attention to what you've seen. And that's apparently what happened with her story. She's saying to that she opened the door that was unlocked, and the first thing she saw was movement. Right. She saw a dark shadow. Now, what I hate, and I know you hate it too, and this is what we hate in general, this is what we're trying to, the whole concept of the show is to avoid, is when the news puts out, it's a white female officer shooting a black male. Now, why can't it be just a police officer shooting someone? Right. That's what I hate about in this, you'll see this across the board. It always boils down to skin color, race, religion, creed, whatever. And that's one thing I hope we one day get away with.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Maybe not in our lifetime, but we're trying to prevent that from happening.
Right. I think that, you know, she came into this place and she saw movement. But I always go back to, as a cop, what are you trained to do? Like, when did cops become trained to actually just shoot to kill on first?
Well, she thought it was a burglary.
Right, but you're in the wrong place. So,
I get what you're saying, but let's put it from her lens. No doubt about it. This young man lost his life, and that officer is completely wrong about that. But she does have some validity to say that, hey, listen, I thought it was my place, and I thought I was getting robbed. Yeah, you could shake your head, but
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's ridiculous. I get what you're saying. But listen, shit like that happens all the time.
I know.
Man, I remember watching this Dateline when I was younger. This gentleman, his daughter was supposed to have a sleepover, and she thought it was a bright idea to hide in the closet and make some noise and surprise her mom and dad. Well, the parents thought that she was at her friend's house sleeping over. So the dad grabbed a shotgun, opened that closet, and opened fire and killed his daughter. Yeah. Yeah, you hear about this stuff. People make mistakes. She was in the wrong because she didn't. Listen, She was supposed to be in apartment 6. She went to apartment 9.
Right.
She thought the numbers maybe got flipped upside down. The bottom line is this, that I don't think he should have. I don't think that in this situation it could have been prevented. Mm-hmm. Anyone's life should have been spared in this because it was such negligence on her part. That's what she should be guilty of. Her story does have validity, but I don't think she targeted this guy. Do you think she targeted this guy because he was playing apparently loud music?
Yeah, see, there have been so many reports that have come out, and this is the whole thing with the world we live in and social media and all of that stuff. You start to hear stuff from onion websites and all types of stuff, right? Because you heard, well, they were dating. Then you heard, well, she was, she targeted him because he was playing. It's been flipped so much, so we don't know what the true story is.
Right.
My issue with the entire story is this didn't come out right away. There was a couple day span before the whole thing was even reported.
Right.
And that's why people have, hesitation when it comes to dealing with the cops, because it's like you're trying to now cover this entire thing up. Why didn't it come out right away? Why? Because y'all trying to cover something up? Are you trying to create a story for her? What is the deal with that? And that's for me where you're wrong. This man lost his life, and it doesn't come out right away. It comes out days later, where you guys now have time to come up with something. And not saying that they did, but that's the perception that people have.
But let me ask you a question. Honestly, we don't know the officer involved. Mm-hmm. I've never made a phone call to her. You haven't made a phone call to her. For Mr. Jean, I never made a phone call to him. You never. Just based on the limited information we got right now, mm-hmm. Do you think, honestly, that she would take his life? Especially, listen, we've said this before, and this is what our show is based about, is that there's such a target on police officers' back of about taking young black men's lives. That's the biggest thing. I think police officers are really watching their P's and Q's. Because let's face it, the media has a target on their back. A lot of people have targets on their back. I don't think she would just open fire on him just because she said, oh man, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to open this door. I'm going to say it was my apartment and I thought I was being robbed.
Right.
I don't think she's that creative to even say that.
Nah, I don't think she's creative enough to, I don't think she was targeting this guy or anything like that from the beginning. My issue comes after the whole thing happened. Then,
And you have a fair point on that, Tom. No doubt about that. Here's the thing. And this is the God's honest truth, is that there's probably witnesses. Police take time to gather all this information. You're never going to get a report the same day. Mm-hmm. How many times you've been in a fender bender or something like that, or even a motor vehicle accident? Oh, you get a report a week from now. Like, damn, a week from now? I want to get my car fixed. I need to report this to my insurance. Mm-hmm. So it never happens 1, 2, 3. Even more so when it involves a murder. So that's what you got to look at right there, is that we want stuff right away. We want all, but witness reports, testimonies. There's a lot of stuff that has to be involved.
See, for me,
you're not buying it.
I'm not buying it. I'm not buying her walking into the wrong place. You, my friend, are wrong. I am dead right on this, and you are crazy. No, just wait. You are dead wrong on this one. For me, you walked into the wrong apartment, and you saw a movement. So there's something about you that wasn't in your right state of mind. So you were either, because if you're totally sober, and I get what you're saying here. If you're totally sober and you walk into the wrong place, you're going to notice right away that I walked into the wrong place. Like, you notice that. It's even if you go to the wrong car. You look into the window and you're like, oh, this is not my car. Right away.
Well, hold on. You could be... I'm going to have to disagree on that. You could be blind to the fact that you open the door. Listen, this guy, Mr. Jean's not expecting anyone to walk in. Mm-hmm. He's saying, shoot, I'm not expecting anyone this time of night. Mm-hmm. So he gets up and he starts moving around like, shit, what's going on, Yeah. And she reacts to that. I don't care. Sometimes I'm trying to put myself in the officer's shoes because everyone else is saying she's wrong. She should go to jail, life. I'm trying to give another perspective. I open the door. I see movement right away. I'm focused right on that movement. Yeah. I don't care if my picture of my grandma's missing or whatnot at that point. If all I know is there's a burglary going down. That's what she's saying.
My thing is, yeah, she should go to jail. Regardless if it was a mistake. If it was the God's honest, like, I truly thought this man was robbing me, well, guess what? You got to go to jail, because there are people out here that make mistakes, and you were texting and driving and then you hit somebody. That was a mistake. But guess what? They're going to send you to jail. So just because you're a cop, you made a mistake and you took somebody's life, and you got to deal with
Here's
those
the better
consequences.
question. How much time should she get? She believe a life sentence?
On that? No. On that, because she got a manslaughter charge. So how do you feel about a manslaughter charge versus a murder charge? Because
I'm good with a manslaughter
murder,
charge.
I believe, has to be premeditated.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm good with a manslaughter charge. So like 8 years. I don't know what she's in Texas,
but it could be.
Well, I'll tell you this right now. Number one is she definitely needs to lose her job and her bed.
Yeah.
That's because obviously if you're not paying attention to what apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the doors are numbered or not. I'm just speculating at this point. And you and I are both speculating. She has to lose her job at a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
She was negligent at that point. So that in itself, she definitely needs to serve some type of punishment.
Right.
So you're saying it's not a murder, it's manslaughter.
It's manslaughter.
Well, what's a fair amount?
For me, a fair amount is, 5 to 8 years on a manslaughter charge.
And it's tough because
that's the going rate.
that's
the going rate on the manslaughter charge.
No,
exactly.
What really does suck is because this woman could be telling the truth. She really could be. And I've made many dumb mistakes before.
Yeah.
Plenty of dumb mistakes. The problem is I've never had a firearm in my hand to make those mistakes.
That's the issue. When you're a cop,
you have to be held at a higher standard.
Right.
And I'd be curious. I'm going to reserve my judgment on this to see, her at the time, was she intoxicated?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they did
that's possible.
I don't know if they did all that stuff to test her. But here's the deal. I feel bad for that young man's family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that they're deeply saddened. But I also feel for the young lady. I know she probably didn't want to take a man's life.
Yeah. Now, think about his family and how they would feel if she doesn't really have to deal with anything but getting fired from the force. They're like, yo, so you get fired, but we've now lost a family member. She has to serve some time, because regardless if this was a true God's honest mistake, you took our family member's life. We don't have him anymore. You just get fired from your job, well, you can go and find a new job.
It's so difficult, man. We've talked about it all the time. It's because, listen, imagine, man, and this is what the argument also comes from too, is that you're a police officer, Don. Put yourself in that. You have a wife and kids at this point,
right?
And you were to make something like that, to leave your family defend for themselves, and your wife's a strong woman. Imagine that you're taking someone else's life. This is why jail is so complex, man, because of stuff like this. I don't know if she has a family. I don't know if she has a significant other. I don't know this woman, but I'll tell you this right now: it's tough if it was a God's honest mistake. It's tough, but she needs to do some type of repent.
That has to be jail time. There's nothing less than it. I can't sit here. I'm not the judge, but you have to deal with some consequences. I'm sorry. There has to be some. You don't have rights.
You know what the golden mistake was? How this all can be prevented? It's on her shoulders. Mm-hmm. Check out the apartment number. If she knew she was in the wrong apartment right then and there, listen, mistakes happen. You're a cop. If you thought a burglary was going down, I get your whole thought process, but where it begins and ends is looking at that apartment and figuring out which one was the right one.
Or even if you pull your weapon, freeze. You're a cop. You're trained to freeze. Don't move.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm being robbed. It's dark in here. I can't see what's going on. Do not move. Now, if you keep coming at me.
Hey, but hold on. check this out. Some burglars with weapons, you tell them freeze, they might just start blasting you right then.
You're right.
Freeze.
That's like some movie shit.
Yeah.
Freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you gotta say
Freeze.
something.
Yeah, here's my gap, mother.
Oh no, why are you shooting sideways?
Yeah,
You're watching too many hood
New
movies,
Jack
man.
City, man.
What the Oh man. So for me, she's wrong. I think the department is wrong. I think she should do jail time.
I want to see all the evidence come out before I reserve my judgment. The family needs to be compensated. There's no compensation for losing their kid.
Right.
But I want to see everything that goes. I want to see if was she drunk, right then and there. I want a 30 to life sentence right there.
You drunk with your weapon on you?
Period.
You got to go.
Yeah, you got to go. But if it was a God's honest mistake, even though, like I said, she should have looked at that freaking number.
Yeah.
The sentence has to be minimal at that.
All right.
All right.